Control players denied.
Hey Control Nation, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dr. Red. In this video, we are reviewing all of the control style cards from the newest Black Bolt White Flare expansion. Use the chapters to find what you like, and I will be also adding some commentary on deck lists and ideas you might try. Also let me know what I missed and what your own ideas are. I also want to say thank you to the Arborists, the channel members, thank you for your support. I also want to say thank you to all of the Discord members who keep the conversation going. And so without further ado, let's get started. We have ABD here, which is attack lock, board control, and damage control. First we have Petilil, hide, flip a coin of heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Larvesta, peck off before doing damage, discard all Pokemon tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. Caracosta, this is a functional reprint of Duraludon VMAX with the ability Mighty Shell. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have any special energy attached. This is really good for facing off against Dragapult that wants to use Luminous Energy, anything that might have the new Prism energy attached once it's unbanned. It's banned as of this video. Also have Mist Energy out there, Reversal Energy, so anything like that, Caracosta will stop. Cubchoo, this was a big control card for us. Still figuring out how it works and how best to, like what kind of decks to put it in. It has the attack Snotted Up for 10 base damage and 1 water energy. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't use attacks. Right now, we're thinking of using it in Pidgeot control. It could be its own kind of supporter and maybe some kind of control box as well, like a supporting Pokemon in a control box. Beartic has the exact same thing with Sheer Cold, except that it's 150 base damage and 3 water energy, 1 colorless energy. Archeops has the ability Ancient Wing. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may devolve one of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. So it's not an attack, it's an ability, so devolve something and then use Air Balloon or Rescue Board to retreat it out of the active and do some damage to something or continue controlling. Roggenrola Harden during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks if it is 40 or less. Mandibuzz, this is another really interesting control card, has the ability Look for Prey. Once during your turn, you may use this ability. Your opponent reveals their hand, and you put a basic Pokemon there with 70 HP or less that you find there onto your opponent's bench. This is going to be really good if you're going to, say, energy lock something and you want to move energy around. You have to put it on something. Or maybe if you have Handheld Fan, if your opponent attacks you, you can use Mandibuzz to put something useless on your opponent's bench. Beware, you might be helping your opponent if they have, say, the Dunsparce draw engine. You might help them out, but that's a chance you have to take. Also, Cutting Wind is 3 colorless energy, so if you're using Ignition Energy, you can one-shot Mew EX or do some serious damage to any Psychic Pokemon weak to Dark. Tranquil Fly, flip a coin of heads. Flip a coin if tails, this attack does nothing, but if it's heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks on this Pokemon. Unfezant has the same thing with Swift Flight. Then we have the Deadly Tool Scrapper. This is a reprint. Choose up to 2 Pokemon tools attached to Pokemon yours or your opponent's and discard them. So this is getting rid of those pesky Heroes Capes and Air Balloons that might be dampening your day. And we're back to Petilil. Then we have all the draw cards from this set. We have Ponsage, which just has Collect, draw a card. Pansear, draw a card. Panpour, draw a card. Audino, return 30 base damage, 1 colorless energy. You may draw until you have 6 in your hand. Unfezant, add-on, draw 4 cards. Extremely powerful. Not sure this would be an archetype on its own, but it might be really good in Pauper, which only uses commons and uncommons. Sharon just is a straight draw 3. Harlequin. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck, flip a coin. If heads, you draw 5, your opponent draws 3. If tails, you draw 3, your opponent draws 5. This could be some really quirky hand control kind of a card. Now we're back to the beginning. Then we have Energy Acceleration. Whimsicott EX, Energy Gift, 1 Grass Energy. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon any way you like, then shuffle your deck. This is huge. You can evolve this turn 1 going first with Salvatore. And then because it says 3 basic energy and not 3 grass, it's literally anything that you want to use. If you want to keep the grass energy consistent with Whimsicott, you could try Venusaur EX, Tapu Bulu if you're into aggro. You could also try Leafeon EX to charge that up, or charge an Eevee up perhaps on 1 turn. There really are way too many possibilities for Whimsicott. It's an intense card. Emboar and the ability Inferno Fandango. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic fire energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. This is made to be used with the new Reshiram EX that discards a card upon its attack. But you can use it again with anything that has colorless energy or doesn't care what kind of energy it uses, like say a Spathra EX, 30 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both Pokemon. So get the psychic energy attached to a Spathra and then just have fun with Emboar. Like Whimsicott, there's a lot of possibilities here. Electric, this is a reprint of the old Electric card with the ability Dynamoner. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic lightning energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. This is a new toy for Miraidon EX. But any Pokemon that can use lightning energy will benefit from it. It's a great energy acceleration engine. Tornadus, Hurricane, moving basic energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Energy Coin, flip 2 coins. If both are heads, search your deck for a basic energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. A meme card of sorts. Don't see this getting any use. Hilda, very powerful new supporter. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon and an energy card. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. The new Ignition Energy with Wugtrio to get the Wugtrio mill go before your opponent takes any KOs. That is to say, you don't have to wait to use Reversal Energy. This card's extremely powerful for that, as well as anything that has an evolution and a special energy in it, any deck thereof. End's Plan. Move up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. Again, this card could be used with anything, but I get the impression that Creatures Inc. wants us to use it with the new Hydreigon EX that has an attack for 3 Darkness Energy and 2 colorless, so you could use something like Dynamotor on your bench and move 2 Lightning Energy to the Hydreigon if it already has Darkness Energy on it. As of now, that Hydreigon is also banned. We're back to the beginning. Now we have Energy Manipulation. We have Excelgor. Flip a coin. If heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active. Servine. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Why did I put that in there? I'm not sure. Ducklet, Firefighting, discard a fire energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. This is great if you're afraid of Ethan's Pokemon, Ethan's Typhlosion in particular. You could just keep recycling it, just give away a little baby Ducklet. Elgyem, this card is absolutely intense. Slight shift, 1 psychic energy, move an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon to another one of their Pokemon. It doesn't have to be on the active, it's anywhere on the board. Gust up something useless, moving an energy from an attacking Pokemon to a non-attacking Pokemon, and repeat. Still figuring out how this one works, but it's extremely powerful. Great in virtually any control deck, including Pidgeot control. Could also be a toy for Gardevoir. Cobalion, this is a functional reprint of Cobalion EX, I think it was, from Plasma Storm. Righteous Edge does 20 base damage for 1 metal energy. Discard a special energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Now we're back to the beginning. We have free retreat cards. Whimsicott EX has a free retreat. Emolga has a free retreat with Call for Family. Search your deck for 2 basics, put them on your bench. Dynamo, that goes with the Dynamotor Electric, has a free retreat. Tranquil, that goes with Unpheasant, has a free retreat. And Unpheasant itself has the free retreat. And Air Balloon, this card is fantastic for all sorts of archetypes, especially if you're going to play a 2-star retreat cost on the bench, like say Toedscruel with Slime Mold Colony. Air Balloon says the retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 2 colorless less. So put 2 or 3 in your decks, and you can rest assured spare yourself from getting retreat locked in the active. Although beware, your opponent might also be playing Tool Scrapper. Now we're back to the beginning. Now we have Gusting cards. Sawsbuck, push down, switch out your opponent's active to the bench. Your opponent chooses a new active. Cryogonal, drag off for 1 water energy. Switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active. This attack does 20 damage to the new active Pokemon. Maybe in some kind of water monotype control deck you might see this. Samurai, Torrential Whirlpool ability. Once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, switch out your opponent's active to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new active. This could work again with some kind of maybe Baxcalibur deck, because its Energized Slash will do 50 more for each energy attached. So Baxcalibur charging it up would pair with it quite nicely. Herdier, Roar, switch out your opponent's active to the bench. Your opponent chooses the new active, and we're back to the beginning. Now we have Hand Control, Hand Knowledge, Top Deck Manipulation, and Deck Knowledge. We have Whimsicott EX once again with Wondrous Cotton. Your opponent reveals their hand, 50 damage for each trainer card you find there, so Hand Knowledge. You have Litwick, Bright and Burn. Look at the top card of your deck. You may discard that card. Gothorita, Fortunate Eye. Look at the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck and put them back in any order. This card could be extremely powerful, but the problem is there are so many different search cards in the format from Nest Ball to Ultra Ball to the Dunsparce engine drawing cards. So like it would shuffle the deck anyway. You might, you know, give your opponent what they need 3 cards down. So this card has potential, but it's pretty tricky to use. Then its evolution, Gothitelle, has the ability to distort a future. Once during a turn, if this Pokemon's in the active spot, you can have your opponent shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 3. Then if you have Relicanth on the bench, you can use as the aforementioned Gothorita attack. You have Liepard, knock off, discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Then we're back to Mandibuzz, look for prey. Putting 70 HP or fewer Pokemon onto their bench, that's hand knowledge as well. Sandile has Tighten Up. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. It's evolution Krokorok. Tighten Up. 1 colorless, 1 darkness energy for 40 base damage. Your opponent discards 2 cards from their hand. It's cards that they choose, not you. And Crocodile, the stage 2, has the exact same attack, except Tighten Up does 60 base damage. Pidove, Scout. Your opponent reveals their hand. Harlequin, this is a hand manipulation card we went over. Now we're back to the beginning with Whimsicott. These are all of the healing cards. Maractus, Lively Needles. If this Pokemon was healed during this turn, this attack does 100 more damage. It's there just for the sake of full knowledge of heal cards here. Ability, Healing Leaf off of Swadloon. Once during a turn, you may heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. You could pair this with Oricorio or Altaria EX for doing 40 per turn. If you don't like the idea of having multiple Altaria EXs, that is to say multiple prize cards, in your deck, and also Air Balloon will get rid of the retreat cost. Leavanny, Healing Wrapping. Heal 100 damage from each of your basic Pokemon. If you, for some reason, have a big basic deck, but you don't mind putting this stage 2 in, this will be perfect for it. Virizion, Giga Drain. Heal from this Pokemon the same amount of damage you did to your opponent's active. Beheeyem, Calm Mind. Heal 40 damage from this Pokemon. Cofagrigus. This attack has an interesting name. For 1 colorless and 1 psychic energy, Extended Damagrigus. Move all damage counters from one of your bench Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not to the active Pokemon. It's to any Pokemon on your opponent's side of the board. So, quite dangerous if you have, say, a really large HP Pokemon, say like Venusaur EX. If you could switch it out, get the Psychic Energy on Cofagrigus, and then just go to town. Crustle has the ability Sturdy. If this Pokemon has full HP and will be KO'd by damage from an attack, it's not KO'd, its remaining HP becomes 10. Fennel, heal 40 damage from each of your Pokemon. This would be great if you have an archetype like, say, Steelix that wants to damage the bench a lot, but you don't want to have to use Monkey Dory, or you're afraid of your opponent using a Monkey Dory, or if you're just afraid of Monkey Dory in general, that's what this card would be good for. We're back to the beginning. And we are doing all of the cards that fit in the other category that we normally cover, ladies and gentlemen, but they just don't seem to fit. They don't have enough to warrant an inclusion in another separate deck list of sorts here. Superior EX has Command the Grass. You may search your deck for 3 cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. For 3 colorless and 1 grass energy, what you want to do is attach your grass and then use the new ignition energy, allowing you to get 3 colorless energy on an evolution Pokemon. The free search really helps control decks get what they need to thrive. Caracosta has Big Bite for 150 base damage, 2 colorless energy, 1 water. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't retreat, so you have a retreat lock. Frillish, Oceanic Gloom, 20 base damage for 1 psychic energy. During your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. Jellicent EX, this card is an absolute terror, both in playtesting and watching other videos. The ability Oceanic Curse, as long as this Pokemon's in the active, your opponent cannot play any item or tool cards from their hand. So if you're worried about them retreating with Air Balloon or some such, nope, they can't play it, so just let it sit there and do whatever it wants to do. You can also attack with Power Press. Girder is the only mill card in this set. Hammer Arm does 60 base damage for 2 colorless and 1 fighting energy. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Haxorus, really, really fun card. It's an auto KO card. For 1 fighting, metal, and colorless energy, Axe Blast says, if your opponent's active is a basic, it is KO'd. I don't know if this will be its own archetype, but with Mega EXs becoming a thing, including basic Mega EXs, this card might just get some play on a semi-regular basis, at least as far as like those fun rogue decks are concerned. Then we have Stoutland. This is going to be the Eye Block's replacement for Oinkologne. It has the exact same attack in what's called Odor Sleuth for 2 colorless energy. Flip 3 coins, put a number of cards up to the number of heads from your discard pile into your hand. For those of you who remember Ursaluna control, also called Bear Control, it was a stage 2 for 1 colorless, and you could get any 2 cards from your discard pile into your hand. Might have been 2 colorless, actually, now I think about it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can get 3 instead with Stoutland, but the problem is that it's on a coin flip. It's not a guarantee. Then we're back to the beginning. And we have shred attacks, attacks that just cut through everything, so beware control players. Keldeo EX has Sonic Edge. It's not affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. 120 base damage, 2 colors, 1 water. Sigilif has Telekinesis. This attack does 70 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It is not affected by weakness or resistance. Excadrill EX, Rock Tumble, 200 base damage, 3 fighting energy. This attack's damage is not affected by resistance. Mienshao, this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. That's Smash Uppercut. Sock, Rising Chop. If your opponent's active Pokemon isn't EX, this attack does nothing. Its damage is not affected by weakness or resistance. Druddigon has the standard shred attack for 40 base damage, and we're back to the beginning. Now we have all the special conditions. This is where I put the Servine. That's what I meant to do with Servine from before. Fungus has Toxic Spore. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Lilligant, Bemusing Aroma. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is paralyzed and poisoned. And if tails, they are now confused. So you're getting a special condition no matter what. There's the Servine. Flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Darmanitan. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Volcarona, Toward Scale's ability. You must discard a basic fire energy card from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may make your opponent's active Pokemon burned. This might be good in the Aceless format. It could also see some play, maybe in a rather daring Cerule Edge EX deck. You could burn your opponent's active, get that energy into the discard pile that you want to do more damage. Vanillish, Ice Beam, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active is paralyzed. Vanillix, flip 2 coins. For 2 colorless and 1 water energy, this attack does 90 damage for each head. If either of them is heads, your opponent's active is also now paralyzed. You could also use a reversal energy. Electros, the evolution of the electric with the Dynamotor ability. Thunderfang, flip a coin. Of heads, your opponent's active is now paralyzed. Cofagrigus has Perplex for 2 colorless and 1 psychic energy, 60 base damage. Your opponent's active is now confused. Mana, this Pokemon is asleep. Heal 30 damage from it. Masharna, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep for 1 psychic energy. Dino, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent's active is now paralyzed. Garbodor, Gunk Shot, 2 darkness, 1 colorless energy. Your opponent's active is now poisoned. Venipede, Poison Spray, your opponent's active is now poisoned. Whirlipede, if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, does 60 more damage. That's here for the sake of completion. And also Scolipede, Poison Point. If this Pokemon's in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, the attacking Pokemon is now poisoned. And we're back to the beginning again. And last but not least, we have tanks. Sigilif, Reflect. During opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 40 less damage from attacks. Conkeldurr. This is awesome. The ability Craftsmanship. This Pokemon gets plus 40 HP for each fighting energy attached to it. So if you're down on prizes, attach 4 reversal energies. So that's 40 times 12. Gosh, I can't do math. 40 times 12 is 400 plus 480. So that's pretty insane. Crustle, Sturdy. It's tanking because it's taking away damage so it can stay alive. Genesect EX, it has the Metallic Signal ability. You can search for 2 evolution metal Pokemon during your turn, but really the tank is Protect Charge, 2 metal, 1 colorless energy, 150 base damage. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. Clink has Hard Gears. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 10 less damage from attacks. Clang, 20 less damage from attacks. And Klinklang, the ability Gear Coating. All of your Pokemon that have any mental energy attached take 20 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Pair this with the Baby Archaludon, they also get free retreats with mental energy. We have Bouffalon EX, the ability Boofer. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. If you pair it with the Baby Bouffalon, it'll be taking 90, so it becomes a 310 HP tank by default. We're back to the beginning. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. May God hold you in the palm of his hand. Peace.